What's up, Endurifiers? This is Mario, and I'm back with another episode of Endurify. And what I want to do today is I want to continue to build off of what I've been talking about with kind of understanding your why. And, if you're listening to this, you're somebody who likes to take on big challenges. You're somebody who wants to become the best version of themselves. And, you might be doing that through an endurance challenge. You might be doing that by, leading a big project at work, or starting a side business, or, launching a new kind of creative endeavor. And, if you haven't listened to yesterday's episode or an episode from about a week ago talking about the 7 levels deep, then I really want to encourage you to go back and listen to that. And basically what that is it's putting you through an exercise that helps you kind of deeply understand why something is important to you. Now, the first thing, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that I'm a big believer in a why, in understanding what is your why, what is your reason for wanting to accomplish something. And I'm going through some elite coach training through Mitch Matthews. And so far, I'm absolutely loving it. I'm getting a lot out of the course, his elite mindset or elite coaching course. And he has this quote that he says, if you know your why, your how will come. And so really kind of the first step is to really understand what is your why. And you can go through and listen to the previous episodes where I talk about the 7 levels deep exercise. But I'm realizing that I'm missing part of the equation, because it's not just good enough to understand your why and to write that out. I've also talked about who might benefit from this, but there's a series of kind of follow-up questions that you can ask to somebody after they've defined their why, or through the process of working with them, that can really help them take a step back and remember their why. And, if you're listening to this, then you're taking on big projects, you're taking on big challenges, and these are things that take time. This can take several weeks, this can take months, this can take a year, this can take multiple years. So a lot of times when you have that strong enough why, you may feel it in a given moment. You may feel it right after you do that activity, but over the period of weeks, months, there's going to be challenges, and that's when it's perfect, if you're working with a coach, to have that coach ask a few questions that can help you remember your why. And so that's kind of the part that I feel like I've been missing a little bit, that I want to focus on a little bit more. It's not just about discovering your why, it's about remember your why. And so I'm going through this training, and there's a few questions that I actually really liked that I want to share with you. And so, as you're going through this, I want you to think about something that you're trying to accomplish in the next 3 to 6 months. So hopefully you have a goal in mind. Maybe it's an endurance event. Maybe it's, having a specific project completed at work. Or maybe it's just something around the house. Maybe you want to be more intentional with your morning routine, more intentional with the time that you're spending with your significant other or your kids. Whatever that is for you, I want you to think about something that you're trying to accomplish in the next 3 to 6 months. And this is assuming that you've gone through that discover your why exercise. Then I want to pose a series of questions to help you remember your why. So here's the first one. If someone asked you why blank was important, what would you tell them? So again, this is just a way for me to help you remember your why. And, this could be, I want to be more intentional with my kids. I want to be more intentional with my wife. Another question I could ask you is, okay, being more intentional with your wife sounds great. What are some of the reasons for it being important to you? Or, spending more time with your kids sounds great. What are some of the reasons for it being important to you? Okay, so that's just asking you, why is that important? Now, here's another one. Who might be positively impacted when blank happens? Blank being your goal. I really like this one because it helps you understand not just what are you trying to accomplish, but who might be positively impacted when that happens. Okay. One other question. What will it feel like when blank is completed? What is it going to feel like when you complete that half Ironman? What is it going to feel like when you complete your full Ironman? What is it going to feel like when you're more intentional with your time? What is it going to feel like when you're more intentional with your time with your kids? Okay. And then based on blank being so important, what could you tell yourself when a distraction comes? I really like this question because, if you're taking on these big challenges, there's going to be obstacles. There's going to be moments when you don't want to keep going. There's going to be moments when you're unsure if this is the right thing to keep doing. There's going to be moments when you're going to be like, oh, I would just rather do something else, anything else. So being proactive about it, based on, being intentional with your time or completing this half Ironman being so important to you, what could you tell yourself when that distraction comes? So, those are just a series of questions that I've learned through going through this training, and I wanted to share them with you today as you're thinking about that goal that you have that you want to move forward in the next 3 to 6 months. And, I don't just want you to think about why is it important to you. I want you to think about who might be positively impacted when that happens. What is it going to feel like when it's completed? And what can you tell yourself when that distraction comes? What can you tell yourself when that self-doubt comes? What can you tell yourself when you're just not feeling it? So these are just kind of 5 questions that I wanted to share with you today as you're thinking about moving your big projects forward. So that is what I have for today. I hope that helps. And, just like I always say, I just want to remind you, it's not about the race or it's not about this big project, whatever that goal is. It's all about the person that you're becoming along the way. And I think I heard a quote this morning in my 5-minute journal that who you become is infinitely more important than whatever you accomplish. So that is basically how I want to close it out. That's what I have for today, and I hope you all have an amazing day.